A significant stretch of time ago, I found myself temporarily residing with my dear friend Ben on a tranquil street in Northville, Michigan. This particular locale, though notable for its proximity to Detroit, wasn't exactly renowned for its upscale accommodations. The house we occupied was far from the epitome of elegance, situated on a block that, truth be told, lacked appeal. However, for two financially strapped young men such as ourselves, the unbeatable price made it a pragmatic choice. Ben and I shared a history that stretched back to our 9-year-old selves, and at the juncture of this narrative, we found ourselves employed in the same line of work. The notion of rooming together seemed not only practical, but also infused with the excitement of camaraderie. Upon our arrival, it didn't take us long to discern the eerie aura surrounding the abandoned house across the street, its desolate appearance emphasized by overgrown grass and neglected bushes. The revelation struck us suddenly, as we realized that many houses in the vicinity shared a similar fate, adorned with graffiti near the front windows and on the fences. Our immediate neighbors didn't do much to dispel the uneasy feeling. One side exuded an aura of suspicious characters, while the other was home to an intriguing figure named Marv. With long gray hair and an equally impressive beard, Marv projected a friendly yet eccentric demeanor that made conversation somewhat challenging. On the second day, we learned from Marv that the house across the street had stood abandoned for as long as his memory served. As evening settled, casting a warm glow over the surroundings, we sat on the front stoop, engaging in casual conversation and enjoying a smoke. In a moment of idle observation, my gaze shifted towards the abandoned house, and a sudden chill gripped my stomach. Jumping to my feet, I discarded my cigarette and crushed it underfoot. Pointing fervently to the window across the street, I revealed to Ben the presence of a face that had been staring at me through the lone upstairs window. The urgency in my voice prompted Ben to turn his attention swiftly, but the figure had vanished, leaving us bewildered. The foggy glass prevented us from discerning the person's age or gender, but the intense gaze was unmistakable. Convinced of the legitimacy of my unease, Ben and I hurried to Marv's residence to share our startling discovery. Oddly, he didn't respond to our knocks, despite us glimpsing him inside, watching TV through the window. This only added to the unsettling atmosphere that enveloped us. Desperate for answers, armed with a katana, Ben proposed breaking into the house to investigate. Drawing on the adventurous and daring spirit cultivated in our childhood, we found ourselves in agreement. Under the cover of darkness, we traversed the backyard, dismantled the makeshift barrier securing the back door, and ventured inside, armed with heavy-duty flashlights. To our surprise, the interior appeared untouched, free of graffiti or signs of vandalism. Yet, an inexplicable sense of foreboding lingered, prompting us to jest about leaving. As we explored the modest first floor, which comprised a kitchen, a diminutive living room, and a dining area, an eerie presence pervaded the space. Deciding to investigate further, we tiptoed toward the stairs. Abruptly, Ben bellowed, "Is anybody up there?" The ensuing silence was shattered by rapid stomping from above, as if someone heavy was hurtling towards the stairway. Panic surged through us, and we hastily retraced our steps. Back at Marv's, he observed us silently from his window as we struggled to catch our breath. Uncertain of how to proceed, we opted against involving the police and promptly vacated the premises the following day, citing the inconvenient location to our landlord. Driving away, we left that enigmatic house behind, choosing to cast it into the recesses of our memories, never to look back. On my college campus, there's a fascinating story surrounding these abandoned dorms that were closed down approximately 15 years ago. The details behind their closure remain shrouded in mystery, and while there's talk about a potential renovation, who knows when that might actually happen. Adding a touch of intrigue, there's a chilling rumor circulating that these deserted dorms are haunted. The school has taken precautions, boarding up the windows to dissuade any intrepid students from exploring. But as you know, I like to think of myself as a bit of an urban explorer, unafraid to dance on the daring side. About a week ago, the idea struck me to break into these abandoned dorms and uncover their secrets. Now, I didn't exactly have a foolproof plan, just threw on some inconspicuous black adderay and aimed to avoid any unwanted attention. Despite heightened security on campus, I managed to infiltrate undetected. Skipping the nitty-gritty details, let's just say a crowbar and a dash of creative entry tactics did the trick. Crawled through a first-floor window and found myself in an empty dorm room, relying solely on the glow from my phone's flashlight. Now, the rumors whispered tales of the basement being the epicenter of supernatural occurrences. At the time, I felt like a fearless explorer, but fear wasted no time taking center stage. The building exuded an eerie ambiance, pitch dark, aging with an indescribable scent. Convinced that any moment something would jump out at me, my phone's battery decided to play the antagonist, draining rapidly and forcing me to be frugal with the flashlight. Thinking ahead has never been my strong suit. Down to the basement I ventured, no faceless apparitions, at least none that revealed themselves to me. But here's where the plot thickens. Picture this. I cautiously descended the stairs, opened the door at the bottom, and found myself in a completely normal room. A tad colder, with a stickier floor than ideal, but otherwise uneventful. I scanned my flashlight across the opposite wall, and what did I find? Another door. Probably just a laundry room, I mused. I decided to check it out swiftly before losing my nerve. Well, surprise, surprise. It wasn't a laundry room. I swung the door open to a floor covered in red, a drain clogged with various organic materials. Shiny red organic substances, to be precise. A black pentagon-like thing on the ceiling caught my eye, and without a second thought, I sprinted back up the stairs, down the hall, and out the window I had broken into earlier. I didn't stop running until I was safely back in the comfort of my dorm. Wide awake and thoroughly spooked, I eventually dozed off sometime after my roommate left for class. Upon waking around 11, I discovered a note slipped under the door. "Did you enjoy the show?" it read, in bright red ink. Now, it's likely just someone playing mind games, but they've got some serious skills because this genuinely gave me the creeps. I'm a 16-year-old navigating the oddities of living next to what can barely be called a vacant house. It's more like a forgotten relic. The mystery of why the town never bothered to fix it up and sell it never really concerned me until recent events took a disturbing turn. My bedroom faces this neighboring enigma, and on hot nights with the window open, I'd catch faint echoes of voices or moaning-like sounds wafting from the abandoned residence. At times, my mind would entertain thoughts of teens sneaking in for clandestine rendezvous. But one fateful Thursday night in July, everything changed. I was home alone, lost in the realm of video games, when a peculiar sound from outside caught my attention. Muting the TV, I went to my window and, almost instinctively, heard a brief scream emanating from the abandoned house. It was a fleeting cry, lasting perhaps a second, barely audible but enough to send shivers down my spine. Adrenaline coursing through me, I decided to get closer. I plunged the room into darkness, grabbed my airsoft gun as a makeshift weapon, and vaulted the backyard fence into the deserted house's realm. Aware that the back door was usually left unlocked, I silently slid it open and entered just enough to listen for more sounds. A strange, steady creaking noise, almost imperceptible, filled the air. It was as dark as it could get, and I flicked on the light attachment of my airsoft gun, feeling momentarily like a character in a suspenseful movie. Fully inside now, the sound grew louder. The living room lay empty, like the other rooms on the first floor. I tiptoed towards the open basement door, my heart racing. Gut instinct screamed at me to turn back, but teenage bravado and curiosity propelled me forward. Step by step, down the creaking staircase, the noise amplifying, I aimed the gun light around the basement. I froze when the light revealed movement. A rocking chair. My stomach twisted in knots as the light landed on the back of someone's head sitting in that rocking chair. The chair halted its gentle sway. Terrified, I sprinted up the stairs, slammed the basement door shut, rushed outside to secure the back door, and locked both front and back entrances upon re-entering. In my room, I stood at the window, eyes fixed on the abandoned house. Grabbing the phone, I called my dad, who, more surprised than concerned, confirmed that nobody should be living there. Calmly, he advised me to get the police involved. Hanging up, I glanced out the window again. Across from me, on the same level, someone stood at the upstairs window of the abandoned house, the window wide open. Hastily, I shut the blinds and called the police. They instructed me to keep watch, and when I lifted the blinds, the figure had vanished. I hoped he was still inside when the cops arrived, but, as luck would have it, the house was empty, devoid of people, except for one chilling detail. In the otherwise vacant basement, a lone wooden rocking chair silently stood as the sole witness to the mystery that unfolded.